Well, hello. It is so good to see everybody today, and yeah, what a fun hour we have planned in the next little bit. I am hanging out with my homie Liana Ling, and she's let's just call it what it is. As always, I'm going to preface all this by saying she's far smarter than I am, and listen to everything that she says, and fast forward past this part with me talking. That's just the best way to actually look at this. What we've been doing the last few months is something we call Restart Small Business. And just to give you guys a real quick sort of walkthrough as to what this is, um, well, we've been in sort of a pandemic and we've been locked down. That's sort of the best way that I can just get into this without getting into too deep into it. But a lot of businesses have shut down. A lot of businesses have shut down permanently. A lot of businesses shut down and are coming back. And right now, as digital marketers, or if you actually own one of these brick and mortar businesses, it's time to figure out how to restart correctly and to get going. And in my personal agency, we help a lot of small businesses do things. And I know the kind of work that we're getting is different kinds of work because, well, the challenges that we're facing are different than we were a year ago. And so we've had to employ a lot of different tools, a lot of different strategies, a lot of different things to help small businesses get back up the right way, but more importantly, help small businesses to recapture not only their own audience, but a lot of these folks that have been sort of left without the businesses that they were going to, they're now looking for other places to go. So we have this really interesting redistribution of customers in a lot of local markets. I mean, pretty much all the local markets out there. And so as a business owner, or as someone like, that's helping business owners, and that's what your business is about, is helping them to, grow their business. What do you do right now? What's going on? And what are some of the strategies to get into? And so what we decided to do, and besides get our lovely faces on camera and, say hello to everybody, what we decided to do is we were going to talk about what we were doing and get real specific about certain, industries and certain niches. And what we really wanted to do here is get in depth. I think that's the big, if you want to talk about our strategy here, it's like, how do we get in depth with what you should be doing from start to finish to grow again? And so basically how this works every time we do it is I get on and I set the stage, and then I get out of the way for my really smart friend to talk. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to dig in and we're going to talk about some very interesting things. And I'm not going to spoil the surprise because, listen, I just need to get out of the way. That's the best way to put it. So I'm going to bring on my amazing friend to talk through this today. I think she's going to throw it to me a couple times to talk about this, because what we're going to be talking about today actually is from way in my past that I was doing some of this stuff. And what she's done is she's taken a lot of the cool things that I used to do, but she's brought them into the now and what's going on right now. And so we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart today. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but this one is something that I made an insane amount of money on, and I've helped a lot of other people to make an insane amount of money with this. And what we want to do today is we want to hook you guys up with something that is proven to work. We've tested and tested and tested this, but this is sort of the now version of this. And every few years we update this so that we stay up with the times, because if you run something too much, it stops being as effective. Not that it's not effective, but it's not as effective. But what you're getting right now is sort of the, what are we doing right now in 2021 leading into 2022? What are we doing right now with this strategy? And even if you are not in this industry that she's going to be talking about, take this one in. This is one that I started in one little tiny industry, and then we've used it in multiple industries now. So we're going to kind of give you the example for the industry that we started in, and what we would do exactly there. But don't sleep on this because you're like, oh, that's not my industry, I don't need to listen. This is one that is infinitely adaptable and that you should definitely check out. So without any further ado, my friend, my really, really smart friend, I'm excited. How you doing? You feeling good today?
I'm fantastic. I am excited to be here too. It's a highlight of my month to be here.
We really enjoy this, and I mine too. It's one of those things where I get to sit back and sort of learn from a master, and I get to take all the things that I cobbled together and was sort of doing okay with, and let you sort of take them to this next place. And that's why I love doing this every month. And so take it away. Like I said, throw me back in when you want to, and I'll shut up until you tell me that. Do you want me to pass you the screen, by the way?
Yes, why don't you go ahead and
Okay.
pass it over?
All right, I will do that so we get the screen. By the
And
way, we're super professional here with how we do the, you can tell that Atkins had a bunch planned here. But no, I'll pass the screen over to you and you're good because I know you have some amazing things to show people today. And I'll make sure that we get that over and that everybody can see. Okay, so cool. Like,
okay, I want to make sure you can see my screen. Great. All right. So today we're going to take you through this very special campaign that I remember when Ben first taught it. I was really impressed with it. And what I'd like to do in our time when we meet every month is I like to walk you through. My goal is to show you, number one, how simple this can be, but also some of the pro tips and sort of my thinking behind things as well, so that you can navigate better and just better leverage every dollar that you're putting into ads, whether it's for yourself or for a client. So let me know at the end of today's training if I have achieved that, okay? So today we're gonna go through the campaign and I'm gonna talk about the foundation. Really where the magic happens here is when we get to the type of ad and the retargeting. I've got some kind of magical stuff that I thought of when I kind of looked at this again to update it that I think you'll find not just helpful for this, but also for everything else you're doing. And because it's very timely as of the time of this recording right now, is Apple with its update to iOS 14. And I'll go over that really quickly when we get to that, how to basically make yourself iOS 14 proof, or i.e. future proof. And then we'll talk about go to audiences and testing as well. I would mention that if go back to the previous episodes of Restart Small Business, those two are kind of foundational because in those ones, I've actually given checklists for you, and those are applicable every single time we do this. I'm not going to go through it here, but make sure you go back over there because I've got basically like all my pro checklists that you can use as well.
and Liana,
Okay.
I'm gonna throw one out there for you real quick. Everybody that's here today, usually you guys sign up for just a replay of this one, right? So you guys sign up for a replay of this one, and we do that at the end of the call. I'll give you guys a URL. But what we're doing different today is I had it in my head that at the end of this third one, I was going to be sending you guys to the playlist on YouTube. And so I'm going to be sending you guys to just a playlist of things where you can watch all the previous episodes. Because I had a feeling, you didn't tell me this, but I had a feeling that we were going to really start stacking this in a cool way. So this is like a master class in this stuff. So the replay, if you sign up today, what I'll be sending you probably tomorrow, or anybody that watches this later, I'll be sending you guys access to the full series that we've been doing so far. And yeah, that should help sort of catch you up on things that you need to be caught up on. So go right ahead, my friend.
Excellent. Okay, so today the campaign that we're going to be running is just a tried and true one of Ben's. It's called the Red Envelope campaign. And I just have to say, Ben, I always remembered this because for me, I only see red envelopes around Chinese New Year or special occasions. So I love that you're making even more money than I ever have receiving red envelopes. So,
I love it. I love it.
so can
Yeah,
you
this
tell us what it is, first of all?
sure. It was funny. I was a new chiropractor. This is back when I used to dress up through the day, and so I was a new chiropractor. I didn't really have a whole lot of idea of what I was doing, and I was looking for ways to get new patients through the door. The constant battle. How do I get new customers? And that was a big one. Is how do I get new customers? But more importantly than new customers, I knew pretty quickly that it wasn't about new customers. It was about once you get the new customer, how do you keep them coming in? And how do you make them fall in love with what you're doing? How do you make them a part of your world? And so I got really in depth with like trying to figure that out. Like, what was the whole idea of like how many times did you, on average, in my office, like my particular office, how many times did I have to get someone to come back through the door for them to feel like it was their place, not my place anymore, but their place? And so what we did is, you can do a lot of things that are pretty easy to get people through the door one time. But as folks that have been burned by Groupons and things like that they ran for their business, it's not so easy sometimes to get them to come back where you actually make your money. And so the whole idea behind this campaign was simply, what is something that we can put together that gets someone super excited to come through our doors the first time? And I'm sorry, as a chiropractor, I realized it wasn't going to be for chiropractic. That's all there was to it. Like chiropractic, it's one of those things that's, it's not a good portal of entry until you've probably seen, a medical doctor and 3 other doctors. And unless you have been to a chiropractor before, that's not your first thought on a lot of things. And so coming to the chiropractor was not necessarily the best way to do things. But what we did understand was this: we had some friends that were very closely related to what we were doing, which was massage therapists. And so what we would do is we would get massage therapists to come into the office. Before I actually had one full time on staff, we had a deal with someone. Hey, come into our office for a few days, do this, out of the month, and we want you to do massages. And what we'll do is we'll pay for advertising to get you exposed. If you can do this, it will help you get business too. And so I sat down with the massage therapist and I said, what we're looking for is when you get someone that comes in and you're looking at their stuff and you're kind of seeing what they need, massage wise, things like that. When you run into something that is sort of out of your world, make a recommendation for us. Just say, hey, you know what? This is good. We can get it loosened up, but it's going to go right back to where it is because you've got some issues. You probably need to see a chiropractor. And we said, don't do any of that if they don't need it. But when it comes up, when we send you somebody that comes up, refer them over to us. And so we had a good sort of education between another provider. This is when I send to you. This is when you send to me. And that was sort of the foundation of it. But the idea, and I'm just going to glance over this because I don't know how much you want to get into it. The idea was if we could put online, and specifically Facebook way back in the day, we're talking 10 years ago, if we could put online that we were giving away a free 15-minute chair massage and we could specifically aim it at certain people, let's say, there it is, beautiful, look at you, right on. If we could send this out to folks and then get them to sign up for a free 15-minute chair massage and then have some follow-ups that remind them that they need to come in and sort of the countdown, or make sure you call. The idea is don't just get a coupon, give them something that when they sign up for it, it says you've got to call to claim it. So they actually have to talk to somebody to schedule an appointment. We do that. Now the idea is once they scheduled the appointments, they would come in, they'd get their chair massage. And one of the things that I understood is no matter if it's free or not, they'll always come to the front desk afterwards and ask if they owe you anything. You're like, what do I do next, right? Because it's weird for someone to walk out without paying. So that's just one of those things that we've been trained to do. So they'd come to the front desk and my front desk person would just be like, no, you're totally good. It was completely free. Here's this thing though, don't open this. It was a letter in a red envelope. Don't open this until you get home. And that was what they left them with, right? From there, they would take it out. I don't think anybody, and I say this in every way I explain this because it's just so funny to me, nobody ever made it home with that envelope. Like it was in the car, ripped up and open. And what would actually be in the envelope when they actually got in there is the envelope was, inside the envelope was a letter that said, hey, thanks for coming in today for your free 15-minute chair massage. We hope you enjoyed it. If you want, you can get a full massage now, either 30 minutes or an hour, and you can get that booked at half of what it would normally cost. So let's say an hour cost them $60, you could get an hour for $30. And so our close rates, we started to figure out our close rate on that was about 70%. If you came in for a 15-minute and you got the red letter, we would get someone back in pretty much, 70% of the people that came in would come back in for that. And then we would get them into, we would offer them, massage clubs where they could join and be on a recurring. We had a lot of people sign up with that. But also because of that, the more people that I would filter through into that funnel, the more people that would eventually come into the chiropractic office. So we started to see the numbers of people that would come that way. So what we were doing is I understood if I could get them to come in twice, if I could get them to come in that first time for the free chair massage, come back for the other one, they were ours. And once you start to understand those things in a business, you can take a little bit of a loss on that front end because you know what the back end is actually going to mean to you. So I started to really understand my numbers, and that was big. Now, the thing that's, really important about this is, of course, as technology evolved, have ad cost, evolved, have all these things, the way you run ads evolved over the years, absolutely. And so the idea is, number one, does this funnel still work? Yes, and it does. It does not just for chiropractic. The same principle can apply in a lot of different places. But the idea is, how do you actually put this together in the real world, step by step now? And that brings us to our topic. So
Exactly,
yeah.
nice and smooth. So I'm going to walk you through how I put together not just this campaign, but a couple other campaigns that stack on top of it within minutes. And it's actually going to take me longer because I'm walking you through it. Okay, no kidding. I did it again today and timed myself.
I'm going to
So,
turn my camera off so it's just
sure,
you, but you yell at me anytime. I'm right here.
exactly.
All
So
right.
the first thing I did was I took this. Now I'm assuming you have your offer ready, and I opened up my handy dandy customer engine, and I just duplicated one of these campaigns, and I'll show you what I did here. Okay, let me go through here. Okay, make sure I do this right here. Okay, so I did this. I said here, I come over here. I actually just uploaded a logo. It actually took me longer, and I don't even think I got a great image, but I just went to Unsplash, tried to quickly find, an image, and came up with a headline. Actually, that's not the one I want to show you. That's the second one. The first one I want to show you is this one here, but I did the same thing. So I just picked free offer, boom, got the logo, put that up there. We're all good there. For this actual headline, what I did was I opened up, and I've talked about this before, I have some copy AIs that help me get some ideas, because again, so I don't have time. I didn't have time right now. I'm trying to get it up really fast. I don't have time to hire my copywriter or anything like that. So I just opened up Headline. You can also use conversion.ai. I just happen to like Headline. I went into Facebook headline area. I just quickly filled this out, and I just came up with some wording here about why I thought somebody might need a massage. And I just, I didn't worry about did it sound good or not. I just wanted to throw something in here, and I had it generate a bunch of Facebook headlines. All I did was I just picked a couple of different tones here just to get a few here. And then I went over here to Facebook primary area, and I had it generate a couple more things here. They do have a website headline, which I did generate a few as well, but I sort of like the ones that I got here in the Facebook primary area. So I literally just took this. It took me just a few minutes. I like to generate a lot and then pull it together. You also have to make sure that it is Facebook friendly, but I just pulled it together, and I went back over here and I came up with this. I did try and make sure I didn't use the word you too much. So I did look it over to make sure that I felt it was pretty compliant. For example, I didn't say, is your life busy or stressful? Or I didn't say, like, are you feeling, horrible or frustrated and depressed? But I think this was okay here. Just said, enter your information below. We'll send you the details. Done. My funnel is up now. Okay. And this is what I would use in an ad. So the next thing I would do is, now that I know where I'm going to send people to, let me walk you through how to actually put up the campaign. And let me actually just pull up, one moment. I'm just going to pull up an ad account it's kind of empty right now, so I don't have to show you some private information here. So what I would do is I would just go to your businessfacebook.com into the ads manager. And what we're going to do is we're just going to create a simple conversion campaign. So I'm just going to go create, and I'm going to choose conversions. Okay. And then I'm just going to go continue, and we can call it anything we want. You can call it chiropractic. The thing to remember, and I may sound like a broken record, is just make it so that if you take a look at all the names of your campaigns, literally anybody coming in can figure out what it's for. Okay, so this might be for free massage, and then I like to put in here the type so I can take a look at that. So just the more organized you are, the easier it is to manage everything, and it just keeping everything clean will help you in the long run, especially if you plan on doing this as an agency for a number of different businesses. So I just call it whatever there. You can set whatever budget you want. Let's just turn on campaign budget optimization and choose $20. I'm fine with that. You don't have to use campaign budget optimization. That's a preference right now. Choose whichever one you feel like using. See if it does well. If it doesn't do well, duplicate and create another campaign and change it to ad set budget optimization and try that. There's really no big advantage. The only advantage is when you're doing really big budget campaigns and you're trying to scale up fast, which I don't think we're doing here right now for local. So let's just go to the conversion ad set. And again, you want to call it, maybe it's like for whatever town. So I may put here in Toronto, and I like to put very specifically who I'm targeting. So maybe it's men and women, 25 to 54, something like that. But I always like to put who I'm targeting. I like to put the age. Again, I can take a look really quickly and see where everything is. So you can fill out your audiences and the location. And I'm just going to leave it at automatic placement. I'm not going to touch anything. Like I said, keep this nice and simple, nice and simple. I can go in here. Oh, I need to select my pixel. And then you're just going to choose a lead. And yeah, and then I'm just going to put in here, okay, I'll just quickly change the location, but I'm just trying to go through this really quick for you. I could put Toronto, I could put zip codes, I could put an address in there, a very specific address in there, and change the mileage around it in terms of a radius, whatever you want. Okay, so as long as it's there, I would turn off detailed targeting expansion. For some reason, Facebook is really trying to push this for every single new thing that started. They click this off by default. So I love my checklists. Okay, so I always like to have a checklist. So when I'm creating things, I quickly go back and compare it against the checklist to make sure I don't forget anything. This will save you later on, because once you have something running, you do not want to pause it, like, ever. If something is working in Facebook, you never, ever, ever want to turn it off. If you have to, for some reason, not advertise, or, like, turn down the budget for a little bit, like, turn it down to $1 a day if you have to, but never, ever, ever turn it off if it's working well, because it's less likely that it's ever going to work again for you. So you want to take advantage of that. So that's all I would do. So nice and simple, target the location. I prefer just the target location, not even putting interests in or anything like that. Just target location and let people self-select themselves when they come to there. And then for the ad, let me just pull up my presentation over here. One moment. And hopefully you can still see it. Let me know if you can't. Okay, so I just pulled up here at the actual copy that I created from the Conversion AI and Headline AI. I just kind of edited it slightly just to test it out. I like to set up 3 different copies of the text just to try it out. Again, go back to some previous ones in the playlist here so you can see what the checklists are and how to do that. But I just came at one here, and again, I'm making sure that it is compliant. So I'm not saying the word you, I'm not calling out specific people like men, women, parents, nurses, whatever. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just trying to sound really casual and sort of like broad and happy, okay, and ask them just to come in. I'm trying not to make any claims. So I think this is okay. Like, I think this is a little bit on the line, but I'm saying boosting health. I'm not saying this is going to cure cancer. I'm not saying this is going to help you lose weight, or this is going to, make your life completely 100% stress-free. I'm not doing that. The trick there is to say, it's helping, okay? So that way you're not making a claim, which Facebook does not like, and you can read it in their policies. So I just put that in here, and this is the type of ad that I would run for this red envelope campaign. Now, I challenged myself to say, how else can we leverage this? Because it's not just this. It's not just getting leads here. There's other things you can actually do. And what I love about this is I thought that it was a great opportunity for me to jump in and really talk about retargeting. And if any of you have done retargeting, let me know in the chat, like, give us a 1 if you've actually done retargeting before. So what retargeting does is what we're doing is we're putting ads in front of existing audiences. And the theory there is, those audiences are aware of us, or they've engaged in us in some way. So they're, number one, they're open for a new type of offer. And number 2, they should be easier to convert. And it's a great way to also stay in front of everybody. So let me show you what I would do for retargeting for this red envelope campaign. What I would do is I would actually let me go out here. I would create another funnel, which I did over here, and that I called red envelope. What I would do is I would run another campaign to remind people about the red envelope. So, and I'm going to walk you through how to create these audiences that you would put it in front of. So first of all, you've got your campaign out there to the world saying, book your free massage. Then I actually want to put this ad in front of people who have opted in and given us their cell phone number to remind them that it's time to book their red envelope offer. Okay? So what they've already come in and you've already given them the red envelope and you really want them to book, right? So this is what I would do. I did the same thing. I took me minutes. I just duplicated the campaign, came up with something here to type in, and boom, there's my funnel right there. And then I did the same thing. I would do another conversion campaign, exactly the same as this one, except I would just change the ad a little bit. And let me show you how I would change the ad. And the thing I love about retargeting is that um, it's it can be so much simpler to do. You don't need a ton of text. It just can be very, very short. I run retargeting campaigns like this one on more expensive, like very expensive things, and they're very, very short ads. So here's the first retargeting recipe that I would call it, and it's just quick reminder. Booked. This should say booked. Probably booked a free massage yet. And then the headline can be take a break, get a free massage today. There you can do that, or book your appointment yet, like whatever the offer is. But I would just do that. Say, hey, have you booked it? By the way, you can also do this for an audience of people who haven't even come into the office too. It just depends how well you're able to segment everybody. But I would just throw this up. And over time, your audiences will grow. And this should also help increase the take rate, both of people literally coming into the office and then people also taking you up on the red envelope offer. Remember what Ben said, like I'm always thinking, what's the ultimate goal here? The ultimate goal is to get people to come back into the office, because we know that the more often they come into the office, the more chances that they have of interacting with them and upselling them into something else. And like Ben said, if I can get them into the office 2 times, we're pretty good. So there's always going to be people who just don't pay attention, or they didn't have time, or they forgot about it. This is a great way to get people in front. And so I've got 2 ads for you here. One is quick reminder, book the massage yet. And then another one is I just made this one up to just, to book your red envelope offer. And just, again, I just filled something out here. You could actually send them to the page inside of Customer Engine. If you want, I put the phone number here too, so they can just call. I don't think it's a bad thing to have people opt in again, because again, it's another opportunity for you just to create that whole follow-up. And that's like the best way you're gonna have to get their phone number, right? So I think these 2 stacked on top of the original can be very powerful. Now, let me show you how to create the actual, I'll come to that one in a moment, but let me show you how to create the actual custom audience for this. So let me just go back over here. Okay, what you want to do is you want to, let me just, one moment, let me just pull up the audience tab here. I'm going to freeze my screen for a second just to make sure I cover any confidential information. But you want to start out by creating an audience that is of your leads. I have one here, but I'll just do one for you over here. So I'm just going to click create custom audience, and I'm going to say website. And by the way, this only works after you've triggered a lead in Facebook. So once you've got it all set up, trigger it in incognito, like trigger it yourself so that you get it, and then create this. Otherwise, it won't show up, and you might have to wait for the next day. So what you want to do is I've done create a website custom audience. Just make sure your pixel is selected, and under events, once it's triggered, it should show up down here. If it's not here, number one, make sure you trigger it and then wait a day. Sometimes it does take a day. So I'm just going to choose lead, okay? And you can say whatever you want there, like 30, 60, 90. You can go all the way up to 180. Okay, it's totally up to you. Name it something, again, obvious, so that you know exactly what it is. And there you go. There's your lead audience. You can even exclude that audience from the cold audience that you've already created. And that's one of the audiences that you could use. Again, depending on the information you're getting back from the chiropractor's office, again, you can create further segments to do people who have gotten it, have not come in, or people who haven't have received it, got the red envelope, and they haven't booked that yet. And you can actually upload the audience with just their phone numbers as well. And I'll show you how to do that as well. So you just go custom audience. If you have like a whole list of like their mobile numbers, and if you have their emails, that's great too. But just click customer list, and then it'll literally just walk you through how to do this. So just say, You have a list. I go, yes. I'm going to go next. No, you won't have the customer value. That's just the lifetime value of what people have spent with them. You're not going to have that, and it's totally fine. You do not need it for here. We're being super simple, right? Super simple and effective. Here you can either upload it as a CSV or a text file. I just copy and paste. If I have the information in an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet, I literally just copy and paste it in here. Again, I'm just super simple, right? Name the audience, whatever you want. It'll just ask you to map the fields over, and then you just upload it, and there you go. You have a it'll confirm, and it'll start creating the audience for you. You can do it manually if you want. You can set up a Zapier to have it updated in real time. It's up to you, okay? But that's another way you can create custom audiences. You may have to wait till it gets a little bit, till it's big enough for Facebook to use, but you can at least set those up so that you can use these retargeting campaigns, okay? And oh, by the way, if anybody has questions, please let us know in the chat, and Ben, I think, will just let me know if there's a question and interrupt me, so I'm fine. Either that, I'm just gonna keep going. So in addition to that, what I thought I would do as well is to talk a little bit about how to have like a really effective retargeting, retargeting campaign and foundation. So the other thing you want to do is you also want to make sure that you are iOS 14 proof with your retargeting. And how do you do that? Well, one of the things, so in case you didn't notice this about iOS 14 is, let me just pull it over here. In terms of iOS 14, what they've done is, and you can read about this, there's a ton of information about this, but in essence, what it's doing is if you have an Apple, if you've updated to iOS 14.5, it asks you if you want to be tracked across different websites. The theory is that a lot of people are saying no. And when they say no, that means that Facebook is not allowed to give us that information, and it means it hinders us a little bit from retargeting people who have visited websites. However, that is not necessarily really bad news, okay? We can still do that for people who have not opted out of the tracking. The other thing you can do is you can build up a library of what we call in-platform actions. Because what the iOS 14 is doing is it's asking people if they want to be tracked across third-party websites. If you're inside of Facebook and you're logged in and you watch a video, you're not on a third-party website. You're still inside of Facebook. So even if you've opted out of iOS 14 with the iOS 14.5 and you watch a video inside of Facebook, I can retarget people who've watched that video. Okay? And I've confirmed this informally with a couple different conversations with somebody from IAB, and also I was in a clubhouse room with the head of global and privacy in Facebook, and I asked him this too, and he said yes, that he didn't see it was an issue. So I'm going to keep until Facebook says no, they're actually going to block us from that. It just doesn't make any sense to me that they would, because the whole thing with Apple is just not wanting people to get tracked in third-party with third-party websites. So what does that mean? That means you want to build up people who have engaged with your Facebook page, engaged with your Instagram page, watch videos. That is key. These are your in-platform activities, okay? The website visitors are the ones that are like third party, which in theory may start to shrink as more and more people who have Apple devices end up saying they don't want to be tracked. But this is really where, you know, the money is, and where I think in terms of the future, because the more we can build up what people are doing inside the platform, right, the more you can retarget them and just build a really powerful audience. So how do you do that? I'll show you. It's super easy. Go back out over here into your audiences and just go create audience, create custom audience. And then instead of clicking over here for your sources, just go to Facebook sources. They have Instagram account, they have Facebook page, they have video. I'll just quickly click Facebook page here. So easy, people engage with your page, choose how many days, and that's it. I actually like to choose this, everyone who engaged with your page. You can get more granular if you want to, but I don't see a reason why. You know, I just want to be as broad as possible. So I choose engaged. I don't choose people who like your page, because I'd rather have people who have taken some type of action. So even if they've taken a micro action to do something on your page, I'd rather have those people in an audience versus people who just like the page and probably don't do much. Another one that is also very powerful is video views. And that's, I'm going to show you one more recipe in there that has to do with video views that can really help you, I think, as well. So you choose video, and it's a little bit trickier, but you choose the retention, like whatever you want, 90 days or whatever it is. You can choose how many, like what you want here. I usually just go through play. 15 seconds is fine with me. Depending on how long your videos are, you can do 25, 50%, 95%, totally up to you. Depends on what your campaigns are. But I just start off with doing this. This is my go-to audience. I just do this. Now, the tricky thing though is you have to remember to choose the videos. So many times I see people creating these audiences, they choose videos, and the thing you have to remember is every time you add a video, you have to go in and re-choose them again. So let me just choose this here one moment while I pull something up here. I just have to pull up my page and then I will share my screen. Okay, so I've got Facebook page, I've got my Facebook page, and what you want to do is you literally, it's silly, but you just have to just click it. I mean, the reason they do this is because in theory, you could actually just retarget people who have watched specific videos. And when I show you the next recipe that for retargeting, I think you'll see why. But I can just go through here and I can click all the videos that haven't been included, and I can click confirm and they'll be included in that audience. And you can see here I can choose from my Instagram profile as well. And I'll talk about that in a moment. There's some things there that you can really leverage. And also if you have any videos in your campaign, just make it just make it a checklist item for you to check every single time you upload a video or every week or something like that, to make sure that you actually have videos there. Because you could have a video that's getting a lot of views, and if you don't include it and you're trying to retarget people who watched videos, then it's not going to be included in your audience. So that's a big mistake I see people make, because they're going, why isn't my audience growing? Go make sure that your videos are actually selected. Okay. So those are the retargeting audiences that I recommend you have, including, like I said, the ones that are going to help future-proof you. Okay? The other thing is, now that I've explained that, I had one more retargeting recipe I wanted to suggest to you, and I think you could do this as well for the entire customer list, actually. And in fact, I'll share with you a moment after I explain this one, but I think this could be for the entire customer list, like basically any list that you want to re-engage with the office, whether it's a chiropractor, dentist, your agency, whatever. Get that audience there, create a video that's helpful to them. Just create, like, teach something, give them a tip. I don't know, just do something that's maybe a minute, 2 minutes. It can be 5 minutes or 10 minutes if it has to be. Just note that if you do want the video to show on Instagram, it should be 1 minute or 60 seconds or less. I'd probably make it 50, 59 seconds. But just whatever it takes to get the message across, and just do something super simple like, hey, thanks, we made this special video, hope it's helpful. Notice I'm not saying you. Notice I'm not sounding really creepy, like, I saw you came in the office, or we know you're a customer and we haven't seen you for months. Don't make it sound creepy, because Facebook doesn't like that either, and they'll disapprove the ad. And then the headline can literally just be the video title, like whatever it is, whether it's like tips to, I don't know, to relax better at home, at your desk, whatever it is. And then again, just quickly put the video description, excuse me, there. And you can run that and you can use it to build up your video views. And then that's when you can go back and create an audience just of that video. And then you can retarget them later with that. The other idea I had with this is you could also take some of these retargeting recipes for the red envelope offer, and maybe again, to wake up a list, you could actually you could include your customers maybe in the ad that gets, hey, book your red envelope offer. Maybe they'll call and say, what the heck is this red envelope offer? I don't know about it. boom, you got them on the phone, right? All I want to do is I want to get them on the phone and get them in the office. So I don't think it's a horrible idea either if people see this and they didn't get it, because maybe you'll start a buzz around town. What is this place giving out red envelopes? I keep seeing this ad for red envelopes. So I wouldn't worry too much if some people in there didn't get it yet. I think it could actually work in your favor, and have them call because they're curious. I'm like, what the heck is this, right? Or, again, this is all sending them also, remember, to a page on Customer Engine asking for their phone numbers. So again, they put it in there. You have another opportunity to follow up with them, another opportunity to get them to come into the office. We just want to give you as many chances as possible to get in front of people, with messages that don't bore them, that are memorable. And so again, that we can get them in the office, because we got to get them in the office, right? At least those 2 times. So we can sign them up. And that's how I would kind of stack all of these different retargeting recipes with the original offer. Okay, now I wanted to also give you a quick bonus about this too. Now that you know a little bit more about retargeting, and you also know the secret to basically future-proofing yourself in Facebook and Instagram, which is to play inside of their playground, right? Notice how I have audiences here that are engagement. Oh, and by the way, I just lump these all together. I don't even make separate audiences. Again, I'm simple. I would just lump all these together. I call it a warm audience, and I'll send them ads. Um, if you are very good at organic page engagement and organic Instagram engagement, this now rewards you, because you can now retarget people who are, and build up this great audience of just organic traffic and organic audiences that are like genuinely engaging with you. It's hard to do on Facebook. So I wanted to share with you just some really quick tips on Instagram that you can use to get some engagement going. One, and I know that Ben has other trainings on this as well about how to, get clients and things like that with Instagram. So this is just like a little teeny little slice, but this is what I would do as well if you have an Instagram account and you can post some things there as well. What I would do is I would actually post reels. And the reason, your video view audience. You can choose your reels inside of that video, of all those videos, and you can retarget them as well. Okay? So let me just quickly show you what reels are, because I love reels. Here is my Instagram account, and I've kind of left it alone for a little bit just to show you the power of reels. Like right now, Facebook, and for probably the past couple months, Facebook has really been favoring reels organically. So reels there's a little tab on your phone as well, if you're on there, called reels. And reels are these vertical videos that are short, okay? Like maybe up to 30 seconds, and I think 30 seconds is long. And you can create these and they can show up on your newsfeed as well. But if you can, I would recommend, diving in and doing a reel every single day. And I would make them short, like make them 15 seconds long. And once you start to get into that mindset, sometimes 15 seconds can be almost like too long. And I wanted to show you a couple examples here just to show that, it can be very simple. I did this one here. Organically, it's had 1,700 views. This is just a quote post. Like you could just put text on something and put some music, royalty-free music behind it. You can talk into the camera. You can teach something. These ones here were literally just recordings from my phone. You could have, if the chiropractor is doing, some demo, you can take like 15 seconds of that and turn it into a reel, and just post it here in Instagram. So I would, if you haven't done reels, I would highly, highly encourage you just to jump in and try it. Okay. And they can just be very fast. Like I saw somebody who, what he did was I don't think he was a chiropractor. I think he was a psychologist, but what he did was he had somebody call him off camera and ask a question, just an FAQ question or a question that one of his patients would ask. And then he answered it. And he was so much more natural instead of sitting in front of his phone and talking, so you have to figure out maybe what's the best thing to do. But I thought that was very effective just literally, so he's talking to somebody, right? Ask the question, you hear the question, respond. Like I said, it could be demonstration. You can make posts, you can make Instagram guides. But if you can get more organic engagement, and it's easier, it's a bit easier on Instagram than it is on Facebook pages to get organic engagement, then do it, because it's only going to help you overall. And the campaigns that I run some local, I do run some pretty big online campaigns that are worldwide. The ones that do best are the ones that also have really good organic engagement as well. So it really goes hand in hand together. Okay. So that's my little bonus there. And then I also wanted to leave you with a little list here of audiences that you can create to exclude. So when you are targeting the cold audiences for the red envelope ad, what I do too is, when you start the account, I would just also go ahead and see if you can make these audiences. You may not be able to based on the information that you have, but I'd probably make an audience of the leads like I showed you how to do. You may also want to make another audience of leads from their customer list and have those two together just in case there's you miss anybody. They weren't able to be pixeled. Appointments booked, you could, like I said, you could do ads to the current customer list. So current list or if they have like just even an email list, you could do that. And then also their patients, clients, etc., whoever purchased. So you can create these as well and have them ready for either retargeting, but especially you may want to exclude them from your initial campaign to promote the red envelope offer, which is the free massage in this case. So, the other thing I didn't mention, but is also you can retarget people as well. Like you can send messenger ads as well. So that's something I think beyond the scope of what we're going to talk about today. But if you like to do messenger campaigns, that's another thing. Like keep going with that. That's only gonna help you. So that's how I would leverage and sort of the update for all of you on the red envelope campaign. And I think the best ways that I would leverage it. And I think now we have a couple of minutes for questions. So let's open it up, or if there's questions that have come up during, I am happy to answer them as well. I'll just hand it over to Ben if you find any.
I'm looking in. I'm going to make sure we had most of the stuff that we had. You answered like right away. Like you were really good at that today. Like, no, I mean, I was like, oh shit, look at her on it. Not even looking at the questions. You were answering right away. So if anybody is here with us live right now, feel free to fire questions. If you happen to be watching the replay later on YouTube or wherever we happen to have this embedded, feel free to fire us questions in the comments. We'll take care of that too. But I want to make sure. Let's see. Some folks said they need a replay because you did cover so much so well. So I'll make sure you guys do that. I will have a link for you guys here in just a second to get a replay. So we'll do that. This is a good question from Andrew, and I like this because I feel like too many people are all over the place when they try to get into this stuff and they try to be too much. But Andrew says, if you had to pick one, Facebook or Instagram, what's your pick? And isn't that a good question? Like it's a simple question, but it's a good one.
Yeah, well, if it's for ads, then you don't have to pick because it's all inside of one umbrella. It's just it's automatic. Leave it at that. If it's content creation, I go with Instagram.
Yeah. I think for me, it's really interesting because like it's hard for me to say this because I am a Facebook guy through and through, but the focus level on Instagram is different for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. Like you can't get as much done, but I think that's why when you get it right on Instagram, it's such a powerful tool. And so like I'm leaning a lot to Instagram these days just because, and it depends on the business obviously, but I like when I run something on Instagram, how much less is around. Like there's just less distractions. It's like, bam, there's a picture and there's a description. If I see something on Instagram, and I'm actually speaking right now as a consumer, not a marketer, because like I buy more stuff these days from Instagram. If I'm really thinking about it, like I buy a lot more stuff, I sign up for a lot more stuff. And I think the reason it happens is just there's so many other things that I'm doing on Facebook. Now, does that mean I don't buy stuff from Facebook every week? No. Unfortunately, I buy too much online. That's probably a problem we can talk about it somewhere else. But I think that's the thing. It's like when I'm really analyzing my buying behavior and a lot of the things that we're seeing data wise, it's amazing how I used to look at Instagram as sort of this, we'll do it maybe if we have time, we'll click the button. Now I'm like, that's a must. We have to make sure that what we're doing is Instagram friendly and good. So I'm with you there, 100%. I think it's interesting to see sort of that shift. And obviously it's not the same for everything. There's obviously where Facebook just dominates for us. And, but I think that it's interesting to see Instagram starting to really take hold in a big way. And yeah, I think that it's super important that, you're paying attention to those things. We got some cool stuff here. Roger says, so can you build your audience by pixeling on Instagram, then use that in Facebook? I'm going to refer, I don't quite understand the question 100%, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I did show how you can create a custom audience of people who have engaged with your Instagram. You can also create a custom audience of people who have visited your Instagram profile. FYI, if you're speaking anywhere, etc., and you just tell everybody to go visit your Instagram profile and send you a DM, now you can retarget them. So
I love it. I love it. Well, I think that's what's so great is, you get into some really cool things that you can do without it being overly complicated. I think that's the problem that, I always run into when I'm doing anything with ads is like, there's so many things you can do. How do you get going without it being overly complicated? And so Roger says, this is another good one from Robert. Roger sort of just plays on what we're just talking about. Roger says, Liana's a grasp of Facebook, making Facebook and Instagram works, make me realize how novice I am, how to fix that. Here's what I would say, and I'll let you answer this too, but don't get overwhelmed. The problem sometimes, those of us that are really like in depth with stuff that we get into when we're teaching this stuff, is we've been doing this for so long, there's a comfort level we have. If you just go back and watch what Liana just did, and just do that and go into it with the mindset, and I think this is super important, go into it with the mindset that you're not going to do it perfect the first time. You're probably not going to do it perfect the 10th time. Like what we have down, I think really great is we have just completely lost any sense of we're going to do this right for a while. That is a talent that, Liana and I both have. It's like, we know we're absolutely going to screw it up. Before I got on this call today, I was telling Liana, we ran this thing and we had very tiny expectations of it and it exploded. But it was one of 10 things, and this was the one that exploded. And that's kind of what you get into is once you start having the experience, Roger, it's you understand perfection and feeling small and sort of that imposter syndrome and like, oh my gosh, this person over here is really good and no wonder they're getting results. That's not what it's about. It's just take what you learned and go test it. And I can't tell you how many times as a chiropractor, being very much a novice at Facebook, that we put something up and it was just because the offer was good that it worked. Like of all the other things that I did wrong that held it back, the offer was so stinking good that it powered through. And I think that that's the thing, buddy. It's most of the time when you have something fail consistently, it's not because of the ads. It's not because of the network. It's because the offer wasn't good. And I hate getting back to being copywriter, Ben, but that's, I think that's where Liana and I both actually live. We're both copywriters and we understand copy, we understand offers. And it's amazing how good we can make ourselves look in running ads and doing those things because we actually had the offer right. And we can get away with a lot of things because the offer's right. So buddy, this is the thing that I want to put out to you, especially when you're working with local businesses. Most of my work, the hard work that I do as an agency owner, is not the digital marketing. It's talking the business owner into making an actual good offer. That's it. If I can, because I can come up with a good offer because I'm like, well, I would take that offer. That's usually what I'm doing. And if I can talk them into doing that, but then showing them how that offer that maybe they think, oh my gosh, we're just giving away a lot or we're not going to make any money on that, but showing them how to turn that into actual customers on the other end. If I can make that argument, we're great. We're really, really great. But, don't get too caught up. Like you could literally go back and watch the last 3 sessions that we've done and do really great with ads. We do really great with setup. Like that's really, there's a lot of good stuff here. You don't have to be great at all of it. You just have to get it going. But at the core of it's offer. If you get the offer right, that's good. That's why the stinking red letter thing works so good. It's the stupid free 15-minute chair massage that we offered. Like people were like, yeah, I'll do that for free. Like, of course. And then we gave them half off the next thing. So I just sort of stair stepped them up. They're like, yeah, I'll take that. Was a great chair massage. Of course, I'll take advantage of this thing for half off. That's nothing. The problem is by the time they get to the end of that part of the funnel, they're so comfortable with us. They're so comfortable with the surroundings of the place that they're like, maybe this should be a part of my life. Maybe this should be. I like the staff. I like the service that was provided. And so I turned something that, people could go run that same thing and just completely botch it up because they don't do the follow-up. It's a great opening offer, but it's the follow-up that happens after. But that's the thing. You got that cool offer. Now that you put in what Liana just showed you with the ads, even if you screw up pieces of what she showed you, you're still going to do okay. You're still going to do okay. And yeah, that's the thing. And so Roger says this, and this is, I love what he just said. This is beautiful. He says this, that I have to find businesses willing to look into the future for future business and make an investment into giving free short term. It doesn't have to be free. It just has to be a good offer. And I got to get that across too. It's not about free. It's just about a good offer. It's something that people think I'm winning, not the business. This is something I will go out of my way for. I will drive 15 minutes the other direction for. And that's the thing, buddy. As an agency owner, as somebody, because this is, like I said, we're speaking to both audiences here, actual business owners and agency owners that are helping businesses. I want you guys to understand this. The people that have businesses that really win are willing to do things that the others aren't. That's it. I mean, that's all there is to it. They have a little imagination. I don't like working with people that don't have imagination because they're not going to do what it takes to grow. They're going to stay right in this pocket for the rest of their business and maybe decline a little bit because of that. But that's the thing, is you go find the right people to work with. This all works. It's amazing. You find the wrong businesses to work with. That's when you have people talking about, oh, it was a nightmare experience with my agency. And believe me, I've been there. But that's what you learn, is you start having people that are willing to do things because they see the future, they see where you're going, they see how this is going to turn into something, and it's a really, really good thing. And like I said, once you get that ball rolling, you don't, as a business, you don't have to run those discounts or really crazy offers. You don't have to do that. But like my chiropractic office, I was in within the first 3 years. I had a massage therapist that was hungry too. She wanted to grow her business, and I'm like, let's go. Can you give away a free 15-minute chair massage if it means that there's a 70% chance you're going to get paid for a half off, which means we're probably going to turn them into a member of your massage club? And she got it. Like, she got it. And so it was a beautiful, beautiful thing when you actually get those connections in place. And, like I said, that's businesses across the board. So, yeah, you got to find businesses that are willing to work with you. And, here's the thing, Liana's an agency owner too. I don't know that you guys know this, because I don't think she takes that position real often, because she's a high level expert that people pay her a lot of money to do things. But it's the thing is, like, she'll tell you right now, she's waiting on something from me that's probably annoying her to death, but she puts up with me, I guess, because I'm cool enough. But that's the idea, is the people that she ends up working with, the ones that are the most fun are the ones that are willing to do what it takes. And I think that's the thing. With all of us that run some sort of agency, and most of us that actually run successful agencies don't call them agencies anymore. It's funny how that works, right? But but that's the thing. It's really about finding that right person that's willing to make that great offer so that you can build this world around it. And I'm telling you guys, you have just about everything you need in today's session, but also the one before. So I think we got time for one more question, because I don't want to keep you too long, because I know you're busy. Here's a good one. How much of a business's success depends on the owner and the staff being great at building relationships with customers? I'll let you answer that. That's a softball, but go right ahead. That's
Oh, well, like it's everything, right? It's not just one thing. It's your job to drive the traffic, and they got to pick up the ball and do the back end stuff as well. And when you talk to business owners, you need to talk to them about, hey, you now have set up a leaky bucket. You're paying me to send traffic, and all of it's leaking out in the bucket because your staff is not picking up the phone.
yeah.
So it's hand in hand, and that's part of looking for the right partners. So I worked
Well,
with people who did nothing with the leads, and they're going to blame you period.
Yes.
They're always going to blame you. It's never the offer, it's never them, it's always the person driving the traffic. So that's why you have to find the right people to work with.
That's the thing. It's, Roger, I'll just tell you this. If you find a business that's great with customer service, that's great with picking the phone up, great with when they pick that phone up, they're good at converting someone from a phone call to a customer, that's who you work with. That's it. Like that's, if they don't have that down, you will end up being the bad guy and it will be a terrible situation for everybody involved. And that's one of the big things is when we first meet with the business, it's not just about us trying to pitch them and get them to sign up. I am sitting down and I am trying to look around and say, okay, what does this place have going on that's so good that in 12 months, that in 2 years, they're going to explode just because of that. And if that is in place, then what I can do is I can take ads, I can take digital marketing, and I can get what would take them 2 years crunched down into 6 months. And that's the ball game. Do they already have those things down that are going to take them to the stratosphere? It's just going to take time. And if so, that's when digital marketing and being an agency owner is extremely rewarding, because all you're doing is taking what they're going to get to and crunching the time down that it takes them to get there. And so that's like the best advice I can give you is don't go after broken mindset business owners and managers. Go after the ones that are on their way. That's the job as an agency owner. You find the ones that are on their way and you help them get there faster. That's my whole business model in a nutshell. And all of my frustration over the years has not come from those jobs. My frustration over the years has come when I took a job that I knew they were going to have trouble because they didn't have the fundamentals down. So customer service is number one. I tell people that it's like, you don't have that, you really don't have a business. So I think that's what we got. Do me a favor, guys. I want you all to, I'm going to jump over here and throw the screen up so that you guys can see this on my end. Let me see if I can make sure I actually do this correctly, because as I said, professional presenter over here. So what we're going to do is we'll get this in the box too. I'll make sure that my team gets this in the box, but we are going to pass it over to here so you guys can see this real quick. And what is going to jump on your screen right now is you all should start to see a URL. And that URL, so this is where I like throw my staff a curveball, my team, because they don't know what the URL is beforehand because I'm terrible. But the idea is you go to spskr.com. Look at him go. Look at Ashton go. Such a pro. spskr.com/RSB1. That is going to get you guys on the replay list. I'm going to try not to be so blurry in my, there we go, in my camera. But if you go there, it's going to get you on a list and we will send the replay directly to your phone. Now, once you get that replay, there's places that you can type in questions, that you can throw things at us if you have more stuff, and we will pass that along. Also, something that's super important, show notes. We try to get all the show notes underneath these things so that you guys can download them, because there's a ton of value that Liana busts into this. And the whole point of this is, how do we help businesses restart? How do we help businesses get to where they want to go faster? And at the same time, if you happen to be someone that helps do that, how do you make money in your business at the same time? It's a good gig to help businesses do that, but you got to have good info and you got to know who to look after and how to look after them. So a lot of talking from Adkins there in like a short period. Thanks for coming today. That was beautiful. Like,
My pleasure.
I'm just always blown away by the things that I pick up that you're doing. And like I said, what I love most about this, I've been doing this for like 10, 11 years, this particular funnel. Started off in my own business. We started working it all over for our clients. And it's always fun to take a look at something that you think you're a master at, and then you realize that your friend just took it to another level, which is what you did today. So amazing work. And I think anybody that watches this is going to be absolutely blown away. So thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah. You got anything that we should leave on? I mean, this is the third. We're almost, we're professionals at this point.
Definitely. Yeah. No, just everyone take action and let us know you have. That's how you can thank us.
Love it. Love it. All right. So like I said, go to that URL if you want the replay. We'll make sure we get it sent out to you. On that note, thank you again, friend. It's always good to see you. And we're going to try to do this here in another month, and we'll have some more cool stuff for you guys. And we're going to continue this as we start to help the world in our own little way restart and get back to business as usual, but not just business as usual. Let's be better than we ever were. And that's what this is all about. So thank you, friends. Thank you, everybody that was here today. Thanks to everybody watching the replay. We'll see you guys next time, and we'll talk to you soon.